All right, we're just gonna give it another second or so that all people who are looking to join us this morning are here for the beginning. So we'll just wait another couple of seconds before we get started. And I will introduce our two presenters today. I see lots of participants trickling in there. So we'll just give it another minute. I'm just watching the numbers that are joining us. And just as people are clicking in, we'll just give them a second to make sure we're all set before we get started. I see so many people joining us, which is wonderful. Good morning, everybody. So great to see so many students participating. And as I see the numbers tick up, I will continue to just hold off before I introduce our presenters until those numbers stable out a little bit. So right now we've got 72 participants. All right, still seeing lots of people join, so we'll give it another minute. Good morning, everybody. All right, we're almost at 100. All right, we've hit 100. Yay, but we're still climbing. So we'll give it another second just to let everybody join us here. Make sure that everybody is all set and comfortable and knows where they're going. I know for me this morning, it was a little confusing figuring out where I had to go. So by the time everybody finds us this morning, still climbing, we're at 120. Good morning, everybody. All right, so we're at 123. I haven't seen numbers move in just a second, so maybe we can look to get started, and then those people who are joining us, of course, as I say that, the numbers start to go again. And we're over 130 now. Just waiting for everybody to click in. For those of you who are just joining us, we're just waiting for everyone to join so that I can introduce our two speakers today, and then we'll get started with our presentation. And we're at 142 participants so far. And I'm sure a lot of you have chosen this seminar this morning because it's probably the question adults ask you the most. What do you want to do when you finish high school? I know I ask that a lot when I'm speaking with my students. So we're at 167, 8 students. We'll give it one more minute. We'll start at 10:35. We're up to 180. Good morning, everybody. For those of you just joining us, we're going to start at 10:35. We're just waiting for everybody to join us here. We've got lots of people joining. And we've hit the 200 mark. All right, good morning, everybody. All right, so we've got 210 participants with us this morning, and it's 10:35, so I'm sure more people will continue to trickle in. However, it's probably a good time to get started. We've given 5 minutes there for people to find us. So my name is Amanda Fisher-Odell. I'm a guidance counselor located in Durham District School Board. I actually work with the virtual school here, so I'm quite used to being online. And I'm moderating today, so that means that I'll be handling the questions that appear down at the bottom. Okay, and I just want to sort of give an overview there that the question and answer section located at the bottom of your screen. If you're interested in asking a question, please feel free to enter your name there and whatever question you might have. Also, please be aware that any inappropriate questions or comments that are placed in the question and answer will be reported, and you will be removed immediately without warning or any second chances. Okay, so that kind of behavior won't be tolerated. So please just be aware of that. We had that happen several times this morning in the session this morning. So just to be aware. I'm going to be introducing the two presenters today. We have Diane Susi and Sylvia McDonald with us. Diane brings over 25 years experience in the field of workforce development, most recently as the labor market analyst at the Eastern Ontario Training Board. She enjoys collaborating with business, labor, educators, and government to create and implement relevant training programs and employment services. And we also have with us Sylvia McDonald. She's the co-presenter, and she is a workforce development coordinator from the Ottawa area. So I am going to let them take it away, and any questions that you might have in the question and answer, I'll let you know. I see someone has said that they can't hear me. If you can't hear me, then oh, sorry, I guess I'll need to type that answer because you won't be able to hear me. So I will type that answer. And this will take approximately 45 minutes. So the session is about 45 minutes in length, okay? And other sessions will be recorded, absolutely. If you'd like to attend more sessions, those sessions will be recorded and will be available later. So you're able to go and listen to those sessions later as well, okay? All right.
Thanks, Mandy. Hi, everyone. It's great to have so many people in the room with us, interested in learning more about labor market information. I want to make it real life for you to see how you can use the information when you're making career decisions throughout your life. So with that, let's take a quick look at just what labor market information is. So labor market information can be statistical, looking at things like the unemployment rate, what industries are employing the most people, the number of job openings within certain different occupations. But it can also be stories. Talking to people about what they do, speaking with people, different friends, family members, reading articles. So there's a lot of different ways that you can gather information about your career choices. Labor market information is looking at trends in the nature of work. How is that job changing? How will it be impacted by computers, by automation? How is that work changing, or is it relatively stable? We can look at growth sectors that are growing and sectors that are shrinking, and the jobs that they produce. You can find a new career path. You're not going to necessarily stay in one career for a period of your entire life. You may want to change things up. And then matching your skills to job openings. So you can look at job openings, see what skills are required, and whether those are things that you can do or would like to do. Ask yourself, what's the education required? How long do I want to be in school? How much money will I make? That's an important one. The number of people working in an occupation. If you want to be a miner, for example, you want to make sure that you're in an area where that's an industry that's common for people. And what kind of skills do you need to succeed in that occupation? So there's a variety of factors that you're thinking about that labor market information can help you to learn. We have some tools for learning more that gives us some insights into different things. Vicinity Jobs is one that we use to monitor job boards. What do the online job postings look like in your community? What occupations do they cover? What wage rates are advertised? Then we use something called MC Analyst, which is another different tool that uses different algorithms in order to do things like project job growth. So I can look at any occupation and see what kind of growth is expected in the next 5 years, for example. Stats Canada is always a good source. They provide information, primarily the census, that looks at all kinds of information about the current population, the current workforce, what kinds of occupations and industries they work in. And lastly, industry reports.
Sorry, today.
That's okay. Industry reports, there are sector councils for industries, and they're always doing their own specialized research. So there's a wealth of information out there. How do you access it? There's a lot of community resources. As Mandy mentioned, we're from the Eastern Ontario Training Board. Every community has a training board or a workforce development board that can provide you all kinds of information, like the statistical reports that I was speaking about, and the other tools to monitor the job market. So you have these resources available to you. The other one, we have a website, labormarketinformation.com, where you can see what jobs employ the most people, and things like the education they have, how much money they earn, those kinds of things. So, but our other tool, yournextjob.ca, is a specialty site that we have, and Sylvia is going to speak a little bit about that.
Good morning, everyone. I was quick to change the slide. Sorry, Diane. I just want to toggle back and add on to the labor market information site that Diane was touching on before. One of the things I do love about that site is if you are you're looking at a certain career and you want to just plug in that you want to be a nurse. If you look, plug in, it gives you how many people are working and how many jobs are right now vacant for that position. So it gives you an idea of how big the need is in the community. Anyways, just just a little add-on, because I use that quite frequently out in Ottawa with some of the youth. So we'll turn to yournextjob.ca. This is a pretty cool site. If you are working part-time, or you're actually looking for summer jobs, and you go online and you're starting to look at, say, job boards, Job Bank, Glassdoor, all of those types of job sites, this site scrapes all those jobs into one place. So you're not bouncing from site to site. If it has been posted on Glassdoor this morning, it's definitely in Your Next Job. But it's a lot more resources than just a job search tool. If you go on, you will see that there is a job map. This is one of the favorite things of this site. There is a map of Ottawa, SDNG, Prescott Russell, Cornwall, and Akwesasne at this time. Different tools might be available in your area if you're in the GTA. That's something, if you Google your local board to where you are, you may be able to find a tool that is similar on their website. But back to Your Next Job, if you're around the area, Ottawa area, or any of the eastern regions. This provides a map, and in the top, for example, you could punch in you're looking to work at Tim Hortons, and it will populate all the jobs in Tim Hortons in the area that you're looking, and you can start searching for a job, say close to your school, close to your home, or any other place that would be most convenient. The other thing it provides is career ladders. If you're looking to get into one of the 4 fields that we provide, and we'll be adding more fields. I believe we have retail, healthcare, manufacturing. Diane, do you know the last one? We have 4 off my end. Healthcare, manufacturing, retail. Anyways, they're up there. If you want to look at how you can climb the ladder within those industries, it shows you what the pay is. And to get to that next step in that sector, you can see what education you need and where you can. We always have an email at the bottom that can help you. Mandy, you're popping in. Do you have?
Yeah, I'm popping in because I have a question from the chat here, and it's asking, what if you want to be a doctor? So for kids, would that be better than being a nurse? And I don't know if you can speak to that or not, but maybe you can speak to sort of that ladder you were just referring to.
A doctor makes more pay. They also go to school longer. It's really, it's up to your situation. And if you want to be a doctor, yes, you will make more than a nurse. You also will have a lot more schooling, a lot more responsibility. They do have in the career ladder, I'm not sure if we actually have a tab for doctor, but you can in the resources, and the QR code will pop up for, again, I think is the labor market information site. And you can Google both and check out what the availability for jobs are in both of those sectors. Do you have anything to add to that, Diane?
No, I can tell you that there's registered nurses are one of the highest demand jobs in the area. I don't see that same demand necessarily for physicians. Doesn't mean that there is, we hear all the time that there's shortage of doctors. So it doesn't really show in the numbers, but it shows in the news reports.
Not to discourage the person asking the question either way, but those are just the data that we have. So Your Next Job also has a tab for job seekers, and if you go into that tab, there is training, and it's free training in the area, and it's all Employment Ontario offices or partners of Employment Ontario offices that offer free training. Like you can look for in your area job search technique workshop, helping you prepare with your resume and all those things. And they lastly, I just want to touch on the job board tab at the end. It is a job board that is something you're more used to seeing. If you plug in the what you're looking for, it will populate we do highlight the in-demand jobs. Do you think I covered it, Diane?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we're going to take a look at some tools for learning about different occupations, just to give you some examples. So what we've done is we've identified the top 5 occupations that are in demand with different education levels. So if you made the decision that you want to go directly from secondary school into the workforce, these are the top 5 occupations that are in demand in the Ottawa area from the bottom up. So we'll start with number 5. Housekeeping. So working within hotels, restaurants, schools, doing the light duty cleaning. The 4th most common job in demand for someone with secondary school is receptionist. We all know the type of work, office work that's involved there. Number 3, food counter attendant. We've seen, all of us have seen the folks doing that work. Number 2, customer information service representative in a contact center. So that would be those people that are working for large corporations that field questions from customers. Sometimes there's a sales role. It depends what you would be looking for, but that's the second most common occupation. Number 1, maybe not surprisingly, retail salesperson. So those jobs tend to have a fair amount of part-timers. And so you get a little bit of what we call job churn, where people come and go quite often. Sometimes they're a bit seasonal, like the retail salesperson, but you get a lot of flux, and then obviously that generates a lot of job ads. So let's take a look at, if you decide I'll go to college or I'll pursue an apprenticeship, what are the top 5 advertised jobs in that area? Number 5 is food service supervisor. So working, supervising a kitchen service, and sometimes kitchens in restaurants or in places like hospitals. Early childhood educators is the 4th most commonly advertised jobs in Ottawa, requiring a college diploma or an apprenticeship. Administrative officers is kind of and that's probably because I was looking at information for Ottawa. You can see that there's some that are more office and government related. Administrative officer is somebody working within administration, doing things like project management specialist, something like that, procurement. So just officers working, people working within administrative functions. Number 2, administrative assistants. So being individual who supports office operations, business operations. And the number 1 most advertised jobs is cooks. And let's say you're going to university, top jobs in demand. The number 5th most common would be lawyers. Business system specialist, that's an information technology position. People integrating software into the use of software into different business requirements. Human resource professionals, so those are the people that work for companies doing staffing, advertising jobs, doing interviews, selecting people for to work at the company, and then ensuring that they're satisfied, that they're getting the benefits that they need, and answering any kind of workplace concerns. That's kind of a people-to-people problem. And there's those registered nurses, 2nd highest demand for people with a university education. And the number 1 most common or most advertised job requiring a university education are professionals in advertising, marketing, and public relations. So the highest demand in Ottawa for a position requiring a university is in marketing and public relations. So let's take always an important question. How much money can I make? Let's take a look at some of those jobs that we looked at and see what exactly you can expect to earn. We're going to use, there's 3 different sources. MC analysts, but they're the ones that use the different algorithms for source data, ranging from the census to the unemployment rate to vacancy and jobs reports, all kinds of technical reports that they factor in to project growth within an occupation, as well as what the income is. Vicinity jobs can give us advertised job rates. What are employers advertising?
And Sylvia,
think-
Diane, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt just for 1 second. There is a question there that you mentioned 2 websites. I believe Sylvia had mentioned them. The first one, of course, was yournextjob.ca. And they had a question about what the other one was. I think they didn't get a chance to get it down quickly enough.
Sure, no problem. It's www.labormarketinfo.com.
Thank you.
Moving on, Diane, just give me 1 second. There we go.
Okay. So, food service attendant. Sorry, I can't read that one. Is it 2593?
It's 1623.
Okay. Customer service rep, $20.06. I should mention that these are the median wage. You might be wondering why we don't use average. What the median means is it's the exact 50% point. So half the people working as a food service attendant make less than $16.98, and half of them make more. So it's that right in the midpoint. The reason we don't use average is because there could be a kind of an outlier who makes a lot, like double what everyone else does. And that would skew the average. The median gives you a better truer midpoint. Administrative assistants, median hourly income is $27.86. And cook, $17.31. So those are examples of the kind of hourly wage information that you can get. And that kind of information is helpful when you're getting ready to go for a job interview, and the employer might ask how much money you're expecting. Early childhood educators, 2884?
2137.
Thanks.
Do you want me to read them, Diane?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Professionals in advertising, 3818. Registered nurses, almost $40 an hour. And business system specialists, $44.78. So those are all median incomes for different occupations in demand. You can go to the next one, Sylvia.
You want me to skip the
Yeah.
tools?
Tools for learning more. Okay. The skills that are most in demand, again, we can get that kind of information from the job ads. They're all sorted, sliced and diced so that we can look at the occupation and what are the skills that are required to do those kinds of occupations. So, and they range from tools and equipment to technology to what we call soft skills, like communication skills.
Diane, I'm just going to interrupt there for a second, just because we have a couple of questions leading directly into this topic that you're about to cover. The first question was, what if the career I want to pursue is highly competitive? Are there any steps I should take to make my profile stand out? And then the other question was, are there personal factors for finding a career? And I think you're about to address both of those points right now for those students.
Right. The job ads themselves provide a lot of the more you understand about what the employer is looking for, the more you can tailor your resume and your cover letter and your work documents to stand out in the crowd. Knowing what kind of certifications they're looking for, and tailoring your education to meet those demands. And the second question, sorry.
sorry, yeah, I'm just going back to it because I just dismissed it. Are there personal factors for finding a career or steps to make your profile stand out? So I think certainly that was really great advice about having, finding out what the employer wants and then making sure that you have those things available to you or those certifications available. And then what personal factors are there personal factors for finding a career?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes we find personal factors are the most important. We have, many employers say, give me the person with the right kind of attitude, right kind of motivation, right kind of enthusiasm, and I can teach them the technical skill that they require. So that it really does make you stand out.
Absolutely. And I was just at a conference this past weekend. And in the conference, they were speaking about this, and they were saying that most employers right now are saying that they are looking for those what we call transferable skills. So those skills that can be used in any job, in any situation, because most students these days are not going to have the same career or the same job for their whole lives. They're going to move around. And so how do we prepare them, and how do students get ready for being able to tackle different jobs? And being able to tackle different jobs basically means you have the skills that you can move from job to job to job. So those transferable skills, such as interpersonal skills, being connected with people, being able to relate to people, communication skills, and those kinds of things.
Yeah, being able to work in a team,
100%.
being, so important.
So important.
I can attest to this. I went to school for office administration. So, and I ended up working in recruitment, which inevitably led me to starting almost 10 years ago in different positions within the Eastern Ontario Training Board and networking and working with a team. And you have to be able to be open to adjusting to what the world is and the opportunities that are in front of you.
Absolutely.
Diane, did you want me to go forward, or we?
Yep, you can advance.
Okay. Advanced again.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you changed. So, yeah.
I think it might be slower on your end.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm at looking into the future.
Yeah, so
occupations with the greatest projected job growth.
That's where we are, yes.
Okay. So I mentioned MC Analyst and how they use different algorithms and information inputs to project growth in different occupations. So what I did, I went back to those occupations we're using as examples and looked at what's the projected growth in Ottawa for those occupations. And you can see the occupations with the greatest projected growth: food counter attendants, social policy researchers, and program officers. This would be another one I think that would probably be unique to the Ottawa area and reflects the large number of federal government jobs that are available. Software engineers and designers, registered nurses, again, and computer and information system managers. So we've got definite job growth in the IT area as well as the healthcare sector. But you can see those jobs are at all levels too. You've got jobs requiring all kinds of different education levels. So I always like to think that there's a job for everyone and anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also see from the hourly wages that the more you invest in your education, the more you're going to take out of it. The more you're over your working life, you're going to earn a fair amount of difference in income. So it depends on your priorities. It depends on what you want for your life. There is what we call a secret weapon, and it's really got nothing to do with data or gathering information that would help you make your decision. And that's what we call you can advance.
Yeah, I did.
The
Diane, do you want me to do this
informational,
one?
pardon?
I think yours is lagging.
Okay,
you want me to take this
I'm
one?
informational interview. So
Mhm.
that's secret weapon is an informational interview. And what that means is talking to people who are doing the job. Maybe a family friend, someone you know, someone you've seen working. If you're interested in learning about being a nurse, for example, see if you can go in and speak to someone, make an appointment and say, I'm really interested in learning more about what you do. What is it you like about your job? What advice would you give someone? What do you not like about your job? And you'll hear two things. You'll learn from them exactly what their experience has been. And you'll meet someone who works in the area. The other thing that people often don't put enough emphasis on is the importance of networking and the importance of knowing people. And quite often, if you know, depending on your status and looking for work, someone will know someone who's looking for someone. So it can provide you with some good job search leads as well.
Learn to network and take every opportunity to join leadership clubs. They will teach you how to network.
And the other piece of advice is to never quit challenging yourself. And I think Sylvia and Amanda spoke to that as well. You know, our career, all of us, our careers have taken twists and turns that no one could have predicted. But we were making use of the skills we had, the knowledge we gained through our experience, and took on the challenge. And we continue to move through our careers. So we've gone through a lot of information today, a lot of, you know, how information that you can gather, but how do you get to this information? One resource, and we talked about it already, is the local boards that are in your community. Part of their function is to provide labor market information to the community. And we have different recipients. Some are students, some are people looking for work, and some are employers. All use the data in a different way, but the data is available through the local boards. And using the online resources as well. The sites like labormarketinfo.com, sites like Your Next Job. So wish you all luck as you move forward in making those decisions about what you want to do next.
We do have one question here. It says, for students with no work experience, are there any tips to finding a part-time job?
I can answer that. Can I take that?
Please.
My biggest piece of advice would be to connect with a local board, or like an employment agency or Employment Ontario office. Search within your the job boards in your area. And if you connect with your local big brothers, big sisters chapter, they do run pre-employment programs. I know that Toronto has them. The YMCA also has them for students, and pre-employment programs that teach you how to do resumes when you have nothing to, you feel like you have nothing to put on a resume, but you really do. Everyone does. And then also, I can't stress this more, volunteer. I know that you all have to do hours through school, but this is your chance to test out the waters. Call the places that you're interested in. Like, for example, if you want to work in a bank, give them a call, ask them, is there anything I can do to volunteer? You want to work at a hospital. I know there's volunteer opportunities there, OSPCA. You want to work in a veterinarian, volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. That is an amazing thing on your resume. Employers will look at it and see that there is character there. So there's lots of things that you can do to build on your own, but I definitely would encourage you to reach out for resources in your area.
Yes, and the John
Together to
Howard
build.
Society as well is a great resource for the same kinds of ideas that you were just talking about.
It builds up your experiences and it builds up your network. So you may want to think about volunteering, like, for example, if you're interested in animal health care within a vet's environment, it'll allow you to get not only some good experience, but some information about what the career is like. And you be automatically, just by doing that work, tapped into the network of people in that working in that field.
And that sort of leads into the next question, which is how can I ensure the part-time jobs I take now will help with getting future jobs?
They'll always help.
Yes.
Even if it's those important things like being there on time, working in a team, they'll always help. And I don't think there's any job that I've done that hasn't given me something that leads you to the next thing. And sometimes it's years that go by that then you draw back on it. So think about what your longer term goals are and how you can start to align your current job, even as a part-time in school, with what your future goals are.
The next question is, are there any other resources on finding part-time jobs?
Are you aware of any, Sylvia?
I'm job boards. I know those are difficult. I hear people that I've been putting out resumes in person. Go in person. Some will tell you you have to apply online, but introduce yourself to the manager. Tell them that I really intend to apply. Here's my name. Yeah, good old footwork.
And someone asked about what about getting into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, that's a kind of a difficult one, because entrepreneurship is, you would be an entrepreneur, whether it would be in sales or some kind of service. It really depends on what area of specialty you're looking at. But there's lots of opportunities for entrepreneurs and a lot of supports in the community as well.
And it says, are there any more creative jobs that are well paid or in demand?
Well, we saw the number one top in-demand job were professionals in advertising and marketing and public relations. There's definitely a creative element to that, but they also don't say starving artists for no reason. There are plenty of jobs. They're there, and that's where you want to be, maybe an entrepreneur in a creative area. Some are very successful, but some struggle.
And again, at this workshop that I attended this past weekend, they said that in the future for this particular generation, and actually right now, 51% of all jobs that are out there are entrepreneurial jobs. So jobs that people created themselves, where they are their own bosses and they run their own businesses. So that might be something that well, they say that it is going to be something that's going to be growing in the future. So learning, taking those courses in high school, those entrepreneurship courses that have just been launched by the ministry, you can take one in grade 10, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. So those are always really useful skills to have for sure.
I can also tell you that, sorry,
no, go
that
ahead.
about 75% of all businesses running in Ottawa are individuals with no employees. So those are entrepreneurs. It's quite common. Most communities, it's about 65 to 70% of all businesses are single individuals.
Another question here is, if there is not a lot of leadership opportunities or clubs at your school, what sorts of opportunities can students find to develop leadership skills?
Look beyond your school, like John Howard Society or the YMCA or Big Brothers Big Sisters. Sorry, Boys and Girls Club. I keep saying Big Brother Big Sisters, but it's Boys and Girls Club. I'm Googling leadership. I know that in Ottawa we have private funded programs. One of them is Youth Ottawa. They are connected with the schools, but they are on their own. And I'm sure there's other organizations in your area that are youth-driven clubs.
Thank you. What are some other things to add to my resume to do in high school?
Start thinking about the kinds of maybe sports that you play or clubs you belong to, or think about the kinds of things that you do. Think about maybe a school project that involved group work and transfer that for the employer so that they see the teamwork that was required.
Mute myself, sorry. Someone says, how much of an impact does the university college you go to have an impact on your future career?
Maybe somewhat, the different universities, different colleges may have different reputations for a particular occupation, but typically once you've had that first job, then your experience becomes more important than what your education, a specific school that you attended. A lot of occupations have also a third-party certification. So like, for example, personal support worker, there's a provincial certification that shows that you have the skills and knowledge to do the job. And again, the school at that point becomes less important.
Absolutely. And all schools in Ontario are equally accredited. So even though, you might think, oh, I need to go to this school versus that school, really you need to choose a school based on personal factors for yourself. So that could be anything from, I like a small campus and I like to know my professors, to I like a large campus and lots of different people. It could be I like the residents versus I don't like the residents. There's lots of reasons why people choose the schools that they choose. And you just need to sort of explore. I always say to students, the best way to figure that out is to visit those campuses, look for those open houses, and don't wait until you're in grade 12, because your application comes for universities and colleges very early in your grade 12 year. I would suggest absolutely taking those tours now, grade 10, grade 11, and really exploring those schools and what you might find interesting at those schools. Couple of other questions, and then we're going to end it off for the day. What if I don't know anyone for my chosen career? How do I find someone who is?
You do. You know someone. School,
Yeah.
clubs, friends, parents.
Yep. And I would also suggest, reaching out, right? So if you're interested in being a doctor and you don't know any doctors, go to a doctor's office and say, I'd love to chat with someone about being a doctor, right? Go to the hospital and see if you can connect with a nurse there who's willing to chat with you. Call up, your local health authority and see if there's someone willing to talk with you about that. So absolutely, I would certainly use those avenues.
You might want to say also, if you're interested in being a plumber, go contact the plumbers union and ask them for either advice or who they could refer you to. So you got to be kind of creative.
Absolutely. And then there's another question there. If you take a gap year after high school, would you just work and save money or do other things too? And I just want to speak to that personally, just because I just, again, attended a conference this weekend where they spoke specifically about Discovery Year, which is a program that runs primarily out of Ottawa, but also out of Toronto. It's a program that helps you develop. And there is a presentation on that happening right now. So if you want to actually watch that, you can watch that up for up to 30 days on the platform. So if you want to watch that, Jay Goslin is doing a presentation called Discovery Year. And that's a great answer to that particular question. And then let me just see if there are any other questions there. All right, I think that's it. I think we've covered pretty much everything else there. So I want to thank Sylvia and Diane so much for their presentation this morning. That was very informative. I had one particular question. I know that this is going to be posted back up afterwards, but that information that you had available to you in terms of, the top 5 careers in different pathways. So if you're going to university, if you're going to college, if you're going to work right after school, would that information be available anywhere for students? Will they be able to find that other than the recording? Is there somewhere that they can go to locate that information?
I would start with the Workforce Development Board community.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending today's session on what do you want to do when you finish high school. The next session, I've been asked to encourage you. The next session, I believe, occurs after lunch, if I'm not mistaken. Perhaps it's right now. I have to check and double check and make sure because mine has been canceled. But they wanted to encourage all of you students to go to the booths in the exhibit halls. So that's where you really find out lots of really interesting information. So go to those booths in the exhibit halls, see what they're talking about, see what opportunities are there. I'm sure Jay will have a booth there. So for Discovery Year. So please feel free to check all those out. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Enjoy your day.
All right, I'm going to end the recording now and end the meet. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.